Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about the bell ringer that you did yesterday. Yesterday's bell ringer was a review of whether you remembered how to use I and me correctly, and it was also practice in typing correctly, in being accurate or precise. So um, one of the things that you're going to have to do on STAR this year is type some of your answers. So it's important for you to be very precise in your typing. That means you need to capitalize, you need to put punctuation where it belongs, you put one space between each word, you spell things correctly, etc. Because you may know it, but if you don't type it correctly, you may not get credit for it. All right, so just in case you were confused or couldn't remember the trick for using I and me, let's review that first. So remember, we use I in the subject of the sentence and we use me when it's receiving the action. All right, so right here, Toby, Samantha, and I or me decided we had to investigate. Well, remember the trick. If you can't remember that I is in the subject and me is in the object of the sentence, just remember this trick because it always works. Cover up the other people. Would you say I decided we had to investigate, or would you say me decided we had to investigate? Me caveman. Hopefully you would say I. Okay. Let's try it with the next sentence. Toby warned Samantha and me that we might come across a dangerous animal in the woods, so we each grabbed a flashlight. Toby warned Samantha and we're going to cover up Samantha. So Toby warned me that we might come across a dangerous animal. All right. Toby chickened out at the last minute and said he'd stay behind to watch the campfire. Good old Toby. Good thing somebody's watching the campfire. As we left, he told Samantha and I or me to be careful. So as we left, he told I or me. He told me to be careful. Good. All right. And the last one, Samantha and I or me walked toward the noise and it grew louder and louder until we finally stumbled upon an old abandoned building. Again, we're going to get rid of the other people and see what's left. I walked toward the noise or me walked toward the noise. Hopefully by now you know it was I. I walked toward the noise and it grew louder and louder until we finally stumbled upon an old abandoned building. All right. One other thing that I want to point out that you may not know, go back up to the top here. Anytime that you have a list of people, including yourself, you are always going to put yourself last. So, for example, this is correct. Toby, Samantha, and I decided. You wouldn't say I, Toby, and Samantha. You wouldn't say Toby, I, and Samantha. Okay. It doesn't matter if you put Toby and Samantha first or last, first or second. I must be last. Okay. So you always put yourself last in a list, whether it's I or me. So some of you really struggled with, actually, most of you really struggled with the assignment yesterday. So let's look at the questions that you had and talk about how to attack those. All right, at first, you should have seen these instructions. You will be required to type answers on STAR this year, so it's important for you to be accurate. Note, place a single space between words. Capitalization, spelling, and punctuation count. For these activities, all proper nouns are spelled correctly. So if you see a name, something that's capitalized, that's the way it's spelled. So don't change the spelling on any of that. All right? One other thing that your teachers told you yesterday is if you didn't make 100, that you needed to look at which question you missed and redo and try to get credit for that. Right? Very few of you actually took advantage of redoing it to learn more and to get a better grade. All right. So the question for this picture says, one of the sentences in the above photo has an error. Type the sentence with needed corrections. Type only one of the sentences and be sure your punctuation, capitalization, and spelling are correct. So let's get a better look at this picture. We have two sentences. The first thing we have to do is decide which one of them has an error. All right. So we have Hippo and me go way back, and Houdini and I stopped hanging out after he bought that stupid cape. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check the I and the me because I know that that's what we're looking at here. I'm going to cover up the other people and decide which one of these is correct. And then I'm going to toss it to the side and I'm going to focus on the one that's incorrect and I'm going to write it correctly, I'm going to type it right here with a capital letter at the beginning and a period at the end. And I'm going to change whatever needs to be changed. The second question didn't have a picture. It just said, read the following sentence. If it has an error, type the sentence with needed corrections. If it is correct as it is, retype it exactly as it appears here. There's no reason for Jesse and I to miss the party. So again, you're going to use your trick and decide whether I is the correct word there or not. If it is, you're going to retype it. If it is not, you're going to fix it. Number 3, you had these 2 buttons. The first one says Samuel, Belinda, and me are going to the football game. The second one says my dad is going to drive us to the stadium. So remember, we also did we and us last week. So you're going to look at these, determine which one has an error, and you're going to type the correct version of that sentence. So you're going to take it and fix whatever's wrong and type it as your answer with capitalization, punctuation, 1 space between words, correctly spelled, etc. Okay. Then you had The Rock asking if she wanted to stop at McDonald's. Do you want to stop at McDonald's with my daughter and me? And she says, no, thanks. My dad and me are going to Whataburger. So again, you're going to have to look at those, decide which one has the error, fix it, and type it in correctly. And then the last one you had was me, Angelo, and Thomas went to Ham's Orchard. Why didn't you invite Misha and me? So you're going to look at those. You're going to take out the other people and decide which one is correct. Toss it to the side and then type in the correct, like the way that the other answers would be correct. Okay, so you're going to fix it and type it as it should be. Watch your punctuation, your capitalization, and your spelling.